This is mostly about headlocks and guillotine defense. Self-defense should be part of any program or curriculum, and this part is about headlocks and guillotine type positions. Here you see from the head and arm, this is a very dangerous position to get yourself in. A good fighter will get that head and arm position and throw you, or put you in a headlock or a guillotine. The headlock, old schoolyard style headlock, isn't something you're going to see a lot in actual martial arts training. And this is what it would look like. Your schoolyard bully headlock. You're not going to see a professional MMA fighter put somebody in headlock like this because it's actually pretty easy to escape. They will, however, use the head and arm throw, which is a very similar entry. So one is different from the other, but they're very similar approaches, and you need to be aware of it. Again, this is your what I would consider your schoolyard bully headlock. Very effective. Somebody stronger, more athletic than you, strong. They can take you down pretty hard and hurt you really bad. This is the head and arm throw right here. So similar entry, but much more technical. Here it is in slow motion. I'm grabbing, pulling him in. The person doesn't want to be grabbed, so they throw a punch. You use an elbow shield and then go into the head and arm throw. Guy is very effective, but a schoolyard bully would just wrap their head around your head, their arm around your head and neck, and take you down. If you don't know how to defend against it, it can be very painful and could potentially kill you or hurt you bad if the person has bad intent. So this whole video is going to be pretty much how to escape those techniques. So this is starting on the ground. Or I'm sorry, starting standing. You see the person has you in a typical headlock. A lot of it depends on if you're behind them more. In this position, you see I'm more behind the person putting me in a headlock. And the other ones I'll show will be beside. So you see that I step in behind their legs and basically do a sacrifice throw, or throwing my own weight to the ground, being sure, very careful to tuck your elbows in and knees. And I think I show that in one of the examples. Here I am saying you get them in a modified side control, you get them in gift wrap, you can talk to them, you can arrest them, what have you. Here it is again. See how I'm using my right arm to block his leg, and then I'm going to step through and I'm going to clamp my knees together. I'm saying, yes, you want to be in tight and my elbows in, because you don't want your knees and elbows hitting the ground. Fine if it's a mat, but not on the ground. Like cement. That's why you want to train it correctly. Here I am stepping through side by side so they can't just take you down. And here's another variation where you're stepping behind them. So again, you're either going to step behind them and take them down, or you're going to step beside them and take them down. Like any other throw or takedown, it pretty much depends on the energy they give you, the direction that you're given to go. Standard headlock escape. Again, they've got you I call it a schoolyard bully headlock. You see I'm securing his arm so he can't punch me. In this case, I'm using my right hand to block his knee. That helps me from being swung around and taken to the ground. That also gives me leverage to follow up with whatever technique I plan on using. In this case, I'm going to step through between his legs. So I'm going to block his knee with my right hand, and you see that I'm going to step through with my right leg and then just swing him around. Again, being careful to tuck your elbows. You don't want your elbows smashing down on the cement. Again, it's fine on a mat, but sucky on cement. Now here's a rear takedown because the energy is going a different direction. Maybe he's not trying to corkscrew you down. And here he is where he's trying to corkscrew you down. See the difference in his body movement? He pulled me through, and I'm blocking the takedown by stepping through in kind of like a T horse stance beside him, like a T position beside him. See from this example just how dangerous it would be to be on the ground in a headlock. See how I'm demonstrating how they can punch you and do a lot of damage. And if you don't know how to escape, then it's a bad position to be in. And here I am showing that, I'm also torquing the head. This is something you might see in wrestling or what have you. Here's another variation of the takedown. That's basically a rear leg trip. I'm going to show that in the proper context. That's just a takedown. Here it is in the headlock, where the energy is not going one way or the other. He's maybe standing there to try to punch you like he just demonstrated, and you're basically going to trip. Now, the same things apply, tucking in knees and elbows, and you'll see that regardless if I'm doing this from like a rear takedown. See how I'm tucking in my knees and elbows so I can use it as basically a sacrifice throw. basically, it's a rear leg trip. Here I am again. He's going to try to possibly break away and punch me, or maybe he's just standing there and not trying to take you down. But in this case, he's punching. So I'm absorbing the punch, sucking that in, and I'm using in this case, my left leg to trip him. And basically, I'm just sitting my butt to the mat. That is the best way to do it. You're just plopping your butt to the mat. And once you are down in the headlock position, here I am demonstrating. I'm the bad guy in this case. I've got him in a headlock, and you see that he's clenching my body. Now, at this point, I can start shifting my weight. I can pull up on his arm. I can torque his head. There's a lot of things I can do. In this case, see how I actually did an elbow shoulder lock from that position. There's a lot of bad things somebody can do to you in that position if you don't know how to defend it. Now, here it is with my partner doing it to me. And see how I'm not laying flat? I immediately want to be on my side, and I need to frame up. See, I'm using my arms as a frame, as a scaffolding, basically. And I want to use the frame so I can use it as leverage, because I'm going to have to shrimp out. And here I'm saying it doesn't matter if their arm is inside the frame or outside the frame. It's the same movement. And I'm pushing against his face, and I'm going to shrimp at the same time. In this case, his energy was going backwards. I was able to just roll him. But assuming that's not the case, especially if they're bigger than you, you're not going to be able to do that. You're just going to have to shrimp. But maybe you might have the energy, you have the athleticism, or they're throwing their weight the wrong direction, and you can just roll them. But here I am demonstrating the shrimp. 1 shrimp, 2 shrimp, even 3 shrimp if necessary. Don't think you only have to shrimp once or twice, but the whole key is shrimp your way out of it. Frame and then shrimp. And here I am using basically my elbow or my forearm as leverage, and I pop the arm off. I'm saying you can punch from that position. I like to go to the gift wrap. Here I am demonstrating the arm bar from that position, which is the classic Jujitsu response. But in a Taijutsu system, I prefer putting somebody in the gift wrap position. Here I am demonstrating without somebody in my way. See how I'm framing and shrimping, framing and shrimping. It's the key to everything. And then I'm rotating my legs, and I'm shifting to side control, and I'm tucking in. Position before submission. Don't be in a hurry to leave side control. They may want to buck and kick, so you're going to have to defend that position. Here I am saying it's okay to grab your own leg and pull it in. Basically, maybe you've got a lot of gear on as a police officer and you don't have the mobility to bring your leg in, and you could just literally grab your own leg and pull it in. Here I am demonstrating from the position where I'm going to an arm bar. Here I am plopping down into that arm bar. You're pinching the knees together. I'm saying you can do a wrist lock from that position or go straight down. And you've seen from previous videos how you can go into handcuffing from arm bar. So guillotine front, the guillotine position or the front headlock. If somebody is wrestling with you and taking down, see how he dropped his head? I'm demonstrating, no, you don't want to do that. You want to keep a good wrestler's arch, keep your head up, because I just demonstrated a head and shoulder or head and arm guillotine position. Here I am just clinching with my friend, and I put him in a headlock again, or a front headlock, a guillotine, because he's dropping way low. If you drop low, you're going to set yourself up for a guillotine. And I was blindfolded in this. It was a blindfold sensitivity drill that we were doing, and I just felt it. Now, here is the first defense. Guys, here is it being used in MMA. MMA, it's still one of the huge submissions used in all MMA. The guillotine, the rear naked choke, and the armbar are your 3 big kings of submissions in MMA. But the guillotine, any fool can lock you into a guillotine. It's very dangerous. So you absolutely need to know how to defend yourself against it. Now, here it is if they're pulling back and giving you energy back. Like they're putting you in the guillotine and they're just giving you lots of upward energy. And here's an example of me doing it if they don't give you that front energy. And I'm going to talk you through it again. Notice the back step. That's an important aspect of that particular one. But we're going to see them both again in slow motion. But that was the two that I teach. Here I am throwing my arm up over his shoulder, and I'm using my other arm as a frame against his hip. That protects me from that upward energy that he's going to have. And then I'm going to hop to his side. I'm going to knock him with my knee. Here's the other variation where he's got me down. I put my arm through and turn it, and that's basically stepping through at the same time, and I'm doing that back step. All right, one last time for both techniques. We'll slow it down even more. Again, he's got you in a headlock, and he's going to be pulling up, arching his back up to basically give you that upward energy to help protect yourself from being choked out during that moment. You're throwing their arm over their shoulder. It's the opposite side your head is being locked. And you see here it is an example of him pulling up. And you notice my other arm is basically posted on his hip. But this is when somebody uses a lot of upward energy. They're arching their back. A lot of times you see this one in MMA. And if you don't know how to defend against it, it's going to hurt you bad. So I'm using that upward momentum along with me jumping to his side, and I use my knee from that T position to hit the back of his knee. It's a nice knee bump. And that's going to take his balance. Again, any takedown or throw, you got to take their kazushi. You got to take their balance. And that's what I'm doing here. I've put them in that position where they're bending back along with their own momentum of trying to arch back, makes them vulnerable for that knee tap takedown. And here I am basically following them to the ground. You're going to go into side control. Again, position before submission. You're not in a hurry once you get them in side control. You don't want to be rolled because you were in a hurry. You're going to have to hold that position, and then you'll use your forearm to grind against their cheek, and basically until they pop loose. And then either armbar or my favorite, the gift wrap position. It's neither here or there. Okay, so here's the other example. Again, maybe they're not giving you that energy. I'm basically using, in this case, my left arm, the same side as the head. Again, this one works for the same side of the head. The other one of the arm is going over the shoulder of the opposite side your head's being locked. But see, my arm's going to shoot through his leg and then turn. See how my palm turns? That's a subtle detail, but it's important to see. So, again, they got you in a headlock. In this takedown, they're not giving you the same upward momentum. You see how I'm stepping still to their side, and I'm using my arm through their leg, and I'm tapping the back of their knee. Now, as they go down, the energy is going to take you. You're going to need to step back out of it. Here I am showing you to do the back step. Very important. Back step to keep yourself from rolling, and then you're going to recover into side control. Side control is the same from this point on. It's the same with both techniques. And you can use the techniques pretty interchangeably, but I like to differentiate them between that upward energy versus maybe that upward energy isn't there. You decide when and why you'd use either position. But here I am again in that side control. You are definitely not in a hurry to get out of side control. Again, position before submission. And then you're going to hold that position until you have the ability to frame off on their face. In this case, his head just slipped out, so I didn't have to do that. But otherwise, you would frame off on their face with your forearm. You would kind of dig it into his jaw, basically doing a jaw thrust maneuver until their arm pops off. Maybe I'll do more videos on that variation or technique later on. Okay, guys, I think I beat a dead horse here. Please like, subscribe, and share. Tell me what you guys want to see. You want to see more self-defense? You want to see more handcuffing? What have you? This is your channel. So everybody take care. Stay safe.
Let's roll. Hey, let's be careful.